It'll be one to go this time by. Coming to the green, buddy, coming to the green. Let's go get him. Go, 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 dig, 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 go, 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 go.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
Roll right into Jeff Burton, driver of number 31 AT&T Mobility Chevrolet, fifth in the point standings after our first chase race last week. One win here at Dover in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Jeff, thanks for joining us. Why don't you talk a little bit about how things have gone for you thus far in the chase and how you see things here at Dover this weekend?
Well, obviously we're only one race into it, and we had a good race in New Hampshire. We were solid all day. There were a few times in the race we had a car fast enough to win, and but certainly not at the right time and not for long enough. But we thought we ran well there. Look forward to this weekend. This is a really tough racetrack. A lot of challenges here, and obviously it's number 2, and it's important to not get behind. It's important to try to get ahead, and that's what everybody that's in the chase is going to try to do this weekend, is lay down as many points as possible, and of course you do that by winning.
All right, we'll open up to questions for Jeff Burton. Please give us your name, affiliation, raise your hand. We've got wireless mics to go, and we'll start over here.
Dan Gelston with the Associated Press. Jeff, kind of a non-chase question, but with McCain in the garage last week, how often, if at all, do politics kind of come up in the locker room? Do you guys talk about, in the garage, do you guys talk about the debates and the candidates, and is it unpopular in the garage to be a Democrat?
Well, I think that it's certainly it comes up a lot. I mean, it's politics are a big part of how the politicians make the laws and the rules, and that impacts us as a sport and of course as individuals. So it comes up a lot. I don't think it's unpopular to be a Democrat. I mean, I hope it's not. I would like to think that we make our decisions based on what's best for us as individuals and what's best for the country, and that could change from being a Democrat to a Republican every so often. So certainly this has been a heavily conservative garage for a long time, but I would by no means say that it's unpopular to be if you were a not a conservative, if you were a Democrat.
Tom?
I'd hope that's the case.
Jeff, Tom Jensen, SpeedTV.com. We've only got 4 teams represented in the chase, and many of the sponsors are moving to the bigger teams. You guys picked up 2 sponsors from other teams. Is there a disproportionate shift of power and wealth to a few teams, and does that endanger the whole sport for the little guys?
Well, it makes it harder for the little guys. There's no question about that. And the harder it becomes for the little guys, the more, if you want to use a phrase, endangered, then the more endangered they will become. There's no getting around that. The key for the little guys is to try to find a way to be the big guys. But it's very difficult to do because there's only 43 spots. You can only have 43 people at every race. And if it's hard for a little guy to expand and bring in more teams and become one of the big guys because it's very, very difficult to get into the race. And that's the initial problem with having where just anybody can show up and bring race cars, is that really doesn't strengthen our sport. For us to have a situation where a smaller team can grow, he has to be able to have a foundation that allows him to grow. We don't have that today. So that's one of the reasons I've pushed really hard to make it so that there's 43 teams, not 49 teams, because it would enable the bigger team, the little teams to be bigger. And by the way, it might make some of the bigger teams smaller. And I don't see there's a negative in that too, but I think there's more positives to it than negatives.
When you say that, do you mean specifically franchising?
I'm not going to say the F word, but can't say the F word in here. But I don't know if franchising is the right word. I think an expansion of the top 35 rule, to make it a top 42 rule or something like that, is what I think we need to do. I think that provides stability. I think it provides, listen, when the economy's going well, it's a whole lot easier. When you really see people start to get hurt is when the economy starts to go bad. sponsors just aren't going to, not going to continue to show up spending the kind of money that they're spending today in this economic environment, not knowing they can be in the race. And we've got to find a way to shore that up. Top 35 rule is an awesome rule, and NASCAR deserves a lot of credit. I just think it ought to be a bigger rule. I think it ought to be top 42.